A small community on the outskirts of Ottawa is searching for answers tonight after 3 members of one family were found dead in an apparent murder-suicide. The bodies of a mother and her 2 young children were discovered by their father in the basement of their family home on Monday evening. Neighbors say they saw no warning signs. Mike Lecouture reports.
Still struggling to understand why she'll never see her friend Katie ever again, young Jessie Marzak leaves a message of hope in front of the little girl's home.
She knows that Katie is now with the Angels, and that's tough. Hey, buddy?
Across the street at the school where both 6-year-old Katie and 10-year-old Alex Korchis were students, flags were at half-mast, and kids were holding on to their parents a little longer than usual. A grief counselor spent the day here, listening to children try to make sense of the senseless.
It's kind of scary, kind of weird to think that that just happened.
Now, exactly what happened inside this home isn't clear, but police are starting to piece it together. Officers say Monday evening, John Korchis came home to find his children and wife, Allison Easton, all with knife wounds, dead in the basement. It's believed the woman killed her kids before taking her own life. Now, several reports suggest Easton left 2 suicide notes, one for police and one for her husband.
God bless him and hope that he can make it through this. He was completely, totally devastated last night.
Now, police say they were never called to the house for any domestic problems and are unaware if mental illness or depression played a role. But that could be an avenue for their investigation.
We have to step back a few paces and see, is there anything that could have been done? And nothing of that nature has come forward yet.
While police pursue those questions, people in the neighborhood can't understand how such a seemingly happy family could suddenly be torn apart.
It was a shock to me, and to turn around and have to explain it to a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old is horrible.
Back at the house, the modest memorial remains, and a handwritten message. It reads, "Katie and Alex, you will be greatly missed. Let the angels guide you home." Mike Lecouture, Global News, Ottawa.
This next story is the kind of thing they make TV shows about. In an apparent case of extreme hoarding, firefighters in British Columbia had to use a chainsaw to cut through mountains of debris to save a man who was trapped in his home. The man in his 70s, whose doorway and halls were filled with junk, had been in his unheated Burnaby home for several days, pinned underneath all the debris. He's being treated in the hospital now for dehydration and circulation problems. A concerned friend called the police after he hadn't heard from the man for several days.